trapped in my conscience. My trap is still bucking, we got all these hundreds. Hit up the whole pharmacist. We serve all the money, my shit at your body. You shot at my body. This guy keep on falling, the drugs I keep calling. He keep picking up for me.
How you doing, everybody? This is Indeed Gaming here. I am in fact Mr. Indeed, and welcome to my channel. Please do comment and share this video, and we are going to get right into it because this could be a long one. Now, what I want to do here is talk about all the potential villains. This is going to be basically a villain series for Gotham Knights. All the potential villains that we could have in the game, the ones that we've already seen, ones that have been hinted at, and ones that we want to see. So this could be a long one. And I don't want to, some of them I'm not going to spend too much time on. If you guys want me to expand on them, just let me know and I will. But I will kind of slow down on the ones that could be bigger threats, the ones that we could see bigger missions on. So let's do it. First off, obviously, the Joker. I know a lot of people don't want to see him in the game. I know a lot of people do want to see him in the game. I want to see him in the game. I don't think we can have a Batman or a Gotham City game with the Bat family that doesn't have Batman in it without Joker being in it. Strictly because we'll be dealing with Jason and Barbara, who have a bone to pick with him. Let's just say, I'm not going to go too into that. And another big reason that I want to see him in the game is because now that they've shown how they plan to do some of the bigger side missions, we could possibly get a Joker bomb city with civilians on the street that are Jokerized. So I think that's a huge opportunity that we don't want to miss. Obviously, we have Dr.Freeze. We know what he's getting into, or at least partly what he's getting into, but he's kind of always doing the same thing. Oh, I'm going to freeze the city. Nobody likes the cold, dog. Anyway, so I'll just go ahead and brush past him. We already know he is capable of a citywide catastrophe. We've already actually seen that, so we don't have to really speculate there. Ra's al Ghul. I'm not really sure how I would want him to be put into the game. I'm thinking that I would want him to be more of a DLC thing, just because I know he would tie directly into Damian Wayne. Same for Talia al Ghul. Now, obviously, he is definitely capable of a citywide catastrophe. He has an entire organization of assassins, and we could possibly have an assassin riddled city, which I think would be pretty cool as well. Then we have Two-Face. Two-Face, pretty straightforward. He's going to be doing a whole bunch of street level stuff, though. I'm not really seeing any I mean, it's possible for him to have his gang take over parts of the city, but Two-Face isn't that big. He's not that powerful. So I'm not expecting anything too big from him, but I think we could get some good missions out of him, definitely. Man-Bat. Obviously, Man-Bat works alone, not really a team type of guy or thing, species. But I'm hoping that we get a actual fight with him, and to be clear, I'm hoping that with all of these villains, I'm hoping we get actual fights with them, not just you know, you randomly come across Man-Bat and you catch him at some point and you don't actually fight him, or you fight Deathstroke in a tank but you don't actually fight him, or you know, or I don't want anything like that. I don't want actual fights with these characters. Now, obviously, make them fight the way they fight. So, if you're fighting Deadshot, you guys aren't going to do too much hand to hand, at least not from his end. But I do want actual fights with these characters. Moving on, Penguin. Penguin, again, kind of like Two-Face. he's about the same, honestly. I mean, obviously he's a different character and he has different quirks to him, but as far as what he would do, it's kind of sort of the same. Although he has more aspirations towards being like maybe the mayor or something like that than Two-Face does. Seems like Two-Face typically just wants to be a gangster. So him and Two-Face, I'm expecting about the same types of missions from them. Now we're going to get into two more interesting characters, Deadshot and Deathstroke. Obviously not together, although it would be crazy for them to do a mission where those two are actually working together to assassinate somebody or even assassinate the Bat family, because Deathstroke himself is definitely a team buster if your team is fully human, and really even if your team isn't. He's beaten the Justice League before. To be fair, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman were not there when that happened. But he's beaten multiple members of the Justice League in a fight before by himself. So he's definitely a team buster. Obviously, he is a Teen Titan villain sometimes. Super strength, super speed, super reflexes, cool helmet. Yeah, I definitely want to see him in the game. He's fought members of the Bat family before. Obviously Damian, but he's fought Red Hood before. He's fought Nightwing before. I'd like to see him come after the Bat family. Now, let me be, you know what, I'm going to say, I'd like to see a chain where he comes after the Bat family, but I'd also like to see him just being there to assassinate people. Maybe he's there to assassinate the mayor, some other high value target. Yeah, maybe even another villain. I mean, he's been sent to kill Riddler or the Joker before. So yeah, I would like to see that from him. Same thing with Deadshot, except for obviously Deadshot isn't a... I mean, I guess he could be a team buster, but he's not typically a team buster. I mean, if he's super planned it out, maybe, but I don't think the Bat family's too worried about Deadshot. I mean, he's definitely dangerous, but he's not top of the mook, let's say that. He's not top of the mook. But same thing with him. He's an assassin. I'd like to see missions where he's there to assassinate people. Again, maybe he's sent to kill the Bat family. Once they find out Batman's gone, it's like, okay, now all we got is the sidekicks. Excuse me. Next, big one, Bane. Bane, I'm curious how they're going to do Bane in this game. Bane, recently in the comics especially, has become a much more sinister villain and more calculated. Not that he's never been calculated before, but I feel like more and more now he's becoming more and more calculated and still very, very dangerous. Obviously, he's one of Batman's villains that can actually beat Batman in a fight. I would definitely like to see something on the scale, or maybe even half the scale of City of Bane. And I'm just hoping that we get something like that in this story. I'm curious if Bane is in this game. Are they going to reference him breaking Batman's back? Has that happened yet? Or, you know? So that's about enough for Bane. City of Bane stuff, definitely. He's definitely a citywide threat when he wants to be. So I want to see where they go with that. If they're going to bring Venom heavy into the game for him, or are they just gonna kind of, it was like, yeah, you know it's there, but it's not they're not really dwelling on it. Black Mask, pretty much same as Penguin and Two-Face. Obviously he's a gangster, he has gang members, blah blah blah. He's not really doing anything too different different than Penguin or Two-Face. So I don't think we really need to spend too much time on him. He's just a pretty basic gangster type of person. Killer Croc, again, someone who works alone, very dangerous, citywide threat, not really, but an interesting villain nonetheless. Doesn't really have too many henchmen, so it's definitely going to be something you're dealing with. More one-on-one or 2-on-1, depending on if you're playing with a teammate. But definitely an interesting boss fight. I would like to see some investigation going into him, definitely. It'd be interesting to see if they actually flushed out the sewer system of Gotham strictly for Killer Croc, which would make sense to me. But I mean, it really depends on how many villains they want to put in this game. So I guess we'll find out. Copperhead, he's a, I don't know. I don't really, he or she, it's been a girl before. I don't know what, I mean, I want the villain there, but I feel like Copperhead's one of those villains I just kind of want there just because I want there to be a lot of villains with names and not just a bunch of henchmen that are nobodies, you know? But I don't have much to say about Copperhead. He's just kind of a hired hand or whatever, I guess. Owlman, probably not going to be seeing Owlman. Even though it depends. It's either we're probably not going to see Owlman or we are going to see Owlman. Let me explain. In the Court of Owls book, I believe that they called what was, I believe, Thomas Wayne Owlman. And he was different than the Talons. He was working with the Court of Owls, but he was different than the Talons. So maybe we won't be getting and this is a Thomas Wayne from Batman's actual universe, not Universe 3. So we're not talking Owlman that you maybe saw in the Crisis on Two Earths movie or whatever that was called, or that you would have seen in the New 52 Justice League comic. I think it was like number 3 of the graphic novel. I can't really remember. It's been forever since I read these things. But we may see that version of Owlman. But so I feel like it's either we're gonna see him or we're not gonna see him. Like it's either a definite yes or a definite no. It depends on how much they plan on going into the comics, basically. So I would like to see him. I think it's even possible that if they bring that version, the Court of Owls version of Owlman into the game, that could end up being Batman. So that's something to think about. I think definitely I could see it definitely. Obviously Talon or Talons, we know that they're going to be in the game from the Court of Owls, and we've seen them. Anarchy, obviously he's going to be in the game. We've already seen him. We've seen that he has henchmen. He's not really a big threat. He's more of an annoyance, I would say. Even less of a threat than like Penguin and them, definitely. So we don't really need to spend a whole lot of time on Anarchy. Scarecrow, definitely possibly a citywide threat. He could fear gas the entire city. And again, I would like to see this in the game from both Joker and Scarecrow, actually, where, like, let's say you have the city, but you need to stay on top of the buildings, and you can see the light green Joker gas on the city floor, and you see Jokerized citizens on the floor, and if you happen to fall down, all of a sudden your character starts laughing and gets harder to control and stuff like that, and you have to have like the antidote on you and get back up to it on top of a building to stop yourself from doing the laughter. Or say Scarecrow, which is obviously what we're talking about. I kind of got on a tangent about Joker, but Scarecrow, a similar thing where his is more of a yellowish green color, but you see that on the Gotham City floor, and you see a bunch of screaming citizens running around and crying on the street. And if you fall down into the city, all of a sudden all those citizens start turning into different hallucinations. And it would even be cool to see that the hallucinations are different depending on what characters you play with. So Scarecrow's definitely possibly a city level threat. He could definitely come up with a villain mission on the scale of the Dr.Freeze one. So yeah, I want to see what happens with him. I hope that they're doing what I'm saying, because obviously the game at this point is pretty much the game. If it's not in the game yet, it's probably not going to be. but I'm really, really hoping that we get some stuff like that from Scarecrow and Joker. Riddler, I hate this nigga. I actually never want to see Riddler again. I never want to see him in another Batman game. I don't want to solve his riddles. I don't want to do the whole back and forth. None of that. Riddler, go away. Could he come up with something that's extremely annoying to deal with and a citywide threat? Yes. But I'm going to ask him not to. I'm just going to ask him not to do that. Solomon Grundy. Next, Solomon Grundy. Typically works alone. Could we see something where maybe somebody is controlling him? Definitely. But typically works alone. More of a single threat. Maybe someone who's just kind of in a part of the city flipping cars and killing people or something like that, or being used in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I want to see Solomon Grundy in this game. It's been a while, I think Arkham City since we've seen Solomon Grundy. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I remember the fight. I can't remember what game it was in. But yeah, I want to see Solomon Grundy. And yeah, that's about it for him. I can't really foresee him doing any like city-wide threats or anything like that. More than likely, if Solomon Grundy's in the game, he's somebody's pawn, more than likely. Next, Victor Zsasz. Definitely not a citywide threat, but probably more interesting as far as the whole detective thing goes, because we could, he's just pretty much a serial killer, and going through his crime scenes and figuring out, how he got in, what he did, who the people were, maybe where he went. These are things that could be very interesting for his particular missions, similar to Deathstroke and Deadshot, because I feel like those missions should be more detective based until you get to obviously the actual fight. So Victor Zsasz could be interesting. Baroni and Falcone, they're just low-level not low-level gangsters, I don't want to say that, but they're high-level gangsters, but I would put them lower than Penguin and Two-Face and Black Mask. But I would expect most of the petty crime stuff that we deal with to be coming from them and their henchmen. So we'll probably at the most see their henchmen quite a bit. Them themselves, maybe, but I don't really think they're super important anymore. Lady Shiva. Lady Shiva, she's definitely a dangerous character, but she's another one of those characters that I feel like I would rather her be DLC, just because she is Cassandra Cain's mother, and I feel like she is a character that should be used to introduce Cassandra Cain, depending on if she gets added to the game as DLC, I should say. So if Cassandra Cain is going to be added as DLC, then Lady Shiva should also be just a DLC character. I don't really have too much to say on her. Obviously, she's ranked like number 3 or 2 in best martial artists in DC. In some universes, or whatever you want to call it, she has actually trained Jason before, and Jason actually beat her before in a fight. Given, I believe that she showed him a technique to be able to beat her, but I mean, they still fought and he pulled it off, so it is what it is. You take it how you want. Hush, definitely a popular villain. Who they would make Hush be in this case, I don't know, but he's a cunning villain. Definitely another one of those more investigation-driven ones. We're definitely something that Tim players are really gonna like, because obviously Tim is the the main detective one out of all of them. They're all detectives, but Tim's the best. So that could be definitely an interesting villain for him. And I mean, he's an interesting villain for all of them, but on the detective side, Tim is the one who's the main, egghead guy. So I think we're going to get some interesting stuff from him. Black Spider, low level villain, but another assassin, more investigating. Same deal as Deathstroke and Deadshot, but on a lower scale. Maybe he's there to assassinate a high level target or something like that, and you just got to find him and beat him up, obviously. Firefly. He could come up with a couple blocks level threat, fire bombs, napalm. He's just flying around burning the city. I could definitely see a villain mission with half Gotham on fire, and you're running from rooftop to rooftop, dodging the fire and trying to catch him and beat him in a fight. So Firefly could definitely be a fun villain in this one, and I'm kind of hoping that they put him in with that in mind, burning the cities. Like really the Dr.Freeze villain missions have really made me. I kind of feel like I'm going more all in on these large scale villain missions than even the devs are going to go, and I'm going to end up disappointing myself. But it's really only my fault. But I am hoping that we get a lot of stuff like that, and Gotham City on fire would definitely be a Firefly thing. Clayface next. Clayface, another dangerous work alone type of villain. It'll be interesting to see if they do put Clayface in here. They're going to make him the more sympathetic Clayface that they've been using recently, or is he going to be just a typical villain, just Clayface? Definitely one of those villains that it'll be interesting to see if how much getting tech, it's like certain tech, is important in this game, and if only certain characters can get certain tech, because obviously when I think this might have been Arkham Asylum, but it could have been Arkham City. But Clayface, you had to use like ice grenades or something like that to beat him. And it'll be interesting if that's going to be something that only certain characters can get. Like, can only certain characters get certain gadgets, or do they just get them and use them differently? Everybody's supposed to kind of play differently, and from what I've seen, it seems like that would definitely have to be the case anyway, just because of the nature of each character's weapons. But I want to see how we get, like, especially if we have to use ice grenades, and if it's tied to something like that is tied to who you've beaten. It's like, if you haven't beaten Dr. Freeze yet, is it just going to be that much harder to beat Clayface? Can you not beat Clayface? Or is there just some other way to beat him? So that'll be interesting to see. And next we have Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy, again, obviously she can be a city level threat. She can overgrow all of Gotham, take control of the minds of all of Gotham. It would even be crazy to see a scenario kind of like the Hush story, where Poison Ivy uses her powers and takes over Superman's mind, and all of a sudden you're fighting Superman as the Bat Family. That would be very, very interesting, and that would actually catch a lot of people off guard. I would love for something like that to happen, even if they didn't use Superman. Like, they it's like, okay, the whole Superman thing has happened before. Maybe she mind controls Wonder Woman, which would be much harder for the Bat Family to fight, just because Wonder Woman probably wouldn't be trying to hold back as much as Superman was, because I remember during that fight, Batman acknowledged that Superman himself was in there trying to hold back, and Wonder Woman in general doesn't hold back as much as Superman does. And obviously she doesn't have any weaknesses. Like Superman, red sunlight, kryptonite, obviously, magic. Wonder Woman doesn't really have any weaknesses. I mean, I guess if she gets shot by Red Hood, but who really shoots Wonder Woman with a gun anymore? Like, that's very extremely rare. So, yeah, maybe a mind-controlled Wonder Woman, maybe a mind-controlled Flash, maybe a mind-controlled Justice League, which would be kind of crazy. But yeah, that could be interesting, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what they do with her character. She's already been hinted to be in this game, but obviously we haven't seen anything, so you never know. And last but not least is more of a throw-up character, honestly, because we don't know. It will be Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is now apparently officially a member of the Bat family, because I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm not a fan. I know a lot of people love Harley Quinn. I don't. I'm not a big fan of Harley Quinn. And it's not necessarily 100% her fault. I don't like characters who are made powerful just because they're popular, and it doesn't actually make any sense why they're able to do certain things. Like, but it is what it is, you know. The question would be, though, more to the point, besides my excluding my biases that are irrelevant, are we going to be getting a Harley Quinn in this game that is still with the Joker, or are we going to be getting a Harley Quinn that is no longer with the Joker? At this point, it seems pretty streamlined. Harley Quinn is no longer with the Joker, but it is always possible that they go back to that. So we don't really know. I'm assuming that the Harley Quinn that we'll be getting is not with the Joker. She'll be more in her anti-hero phase, which I'm not even, I would actually be a little surprised if she was more than just random comedic relief in this game, but it's always possible that she has a bigger role in the game. I wouldn't be surprised because they seem to be putting her in everything. So we will see on that one. I guess, she's a bit of a toss-up. We don't really know. I'm pretty positive she'll be in the game, but we don't really know what she's going to be in the game. So we'll have to see on that. And honestly, that actually reminds me of another one, Catwoman. Are we going to be getting the Catwoman who is in love with Batman? If we're getting that one, obviously she's not going to be a villain. She'll probably be more of a random aide to the Bat family, if she's even still in the city. But I don't know. That's just another one of those kind of toss-up characters. We'll have to see what they do with the character in this universe, type of thing. But that is my villain series on Gotham Knights. Please let me know if there's any of these villains that you guys want me to expand on, if there's any villains that I missed, because I know that there is. I just try to get more main ones that I could see being in the game. I mean, definitely they could throw someone in there like Calendar Man or Kite Man or something like that, which I know a lot of people are saying they want, but I don't know if they're going to do something like that. But let me know how you guys feel about these villains. If there's any villains that you guys want me to expand on, what their part could be in the game, just let me know and I will do so. So I will catch you guys in the next one.